As a kid, I absolutely adored my Lego. I spent hours and hours creating all sorts of things, from castles to pirate ships to Batmobiles, all sorts of things. Myself, my brother, many of my friends. Lego was definitely one of the greatest toys I had as a kid, and it's for that reason that it's one of the few toys I hung on to and passed on to my own kids. Now, the scale and ingenuity of different Lego sets has grown remarkably since I was a kid in the 80s and the 90s. And you can build extraordinary things now. The Roman Colosseum, the gigantic Millennium Falcon, London Bridge, some really amazing sets. Now, the two most intricate sets that I've built are just over my shoulder over here. A VW Beetle and a Ford Mustang. The Ford Mustang is a set that I bought last year, and it represents the most complicated build I've ever done. One of the really great things with Lego is, as intricate as some of these designs are, they give you step-by-step instructions that will take you from the box full of assorted pieces to the creation they designed you to make out of these Lego bricks.
Ah, here it is. Instructions to fit in, have everybody like you, and always be happy. Step 1, breathe. Okay, got that one down. Step 2, greet the day, smile, and say, Good morning, city! Good morning, city! City! Morning, city! How you doing? Morning, city! Step 3, exercise. Jumping jacks, hit 'em. 1, 2, 3. I am so pumped up! Step 4, shower. And always be sure to keep the soap out of your ass. Shave your face, brush your teeth, comb your hair.
Well, when it comes to us in the spiritual life, it's not always quite as clear as that. And part of that is because God meets us where we are. He recognizes the fact that He's created all of us a little bit different. And so there's no one specific thing that everybody can do to reach the exact same point of progress in the spiritual life. Now, saying that there's no perfect instruction manual for everyone doesn't mean that there aren't instructions, that there aren't things that you could do. This is why we look to the saints. This is why we have saints like Saint Therese and Saint Augustine who share their life stories with us. Therese was a young French nun who died in her early 20s, but who her whole life was extremely close to God. Augustine was almost the opposite, in the sense he was this wild child who drank and partied and womanized and did all these other things, but found a lot of that to be empty and eventually turned to God. And there are countless saints and spiritual writers who've left us their own stories, their own discoveries, their own experiences of how we can grow closer to God. And those things are worth reading. But there are other simple steps that you could take, other simple things that you could choose to do that would help you draw nearer to God, that would help you grow and excel in the spiritual life. Now, we obviously can talk about prayer. Prayer is our relationship with God. Prayer is where we learn to talk and to listen to God. We can talk about the idea of studying Scripture, of getting into the Bible. You could take on a challenge like read the Bible in a year. Or you could just make a point of saying, I'm going to read a little bit from the Bible every day, whether that's a verse or a paragraph or an entire chapter. You can choose to get involved in your church community, because not only does that put you in a community of believers who are all moving in the same direction as you are, not only does that open up opportunities for smaller group activities, Bible studies, youth groups, and so on, but it also brings you face to face with Jesus in the Word and in the Eucharist, where He nourishes your mind and He nourishes your soul. Taking opportunities to serve. There are many, many saints and holy people who have discovered God in the face of the poor. And ask questions. Because the reality is, with Christianity, we're not asking you to check your brain at the door and hope for the best. But the reality is that somebody else has wrestled with the same questions you have, are, or will wrestle with at some point in time. What all of these things have in common is that they start to help you tune into the fact that Jesus isn't just a historical person from a long time ago, way back in Galilee, but He's somebody who's present to you in the here and in the now. And the more and more you start to recognize Jesus in the here and the now, through your prayer, through your study, through your worship, through your service, through your questioning, the more forward progress you make in the spiritual life. And sometimes as a result, it means we have to make some changes. Sometimes it's a challenge to be more like what God created us to be. But the beauty of it is, He doesn't ever leave us alone. He walks this road with us. He laughs with us. He cries with us. And Jesus has promised that no matter what happens, he will never, ever abandon us. So yeah, maybe it's not as simple and clearly laid out as a set of Lego instructions. But there's an invitation to take small, simple steps forward so that you too can grow closer to God and hopefully, eventually, become a saint.